Okay, so we're going to do graphing, domain, range, and end behavior for quadratics. So the first thing we want to do is with our equation, we want to label a, b, and c. So a is what's in front of the x squared. When there's no number, remember there's invisible 1, so a is negative 1. B is in front of the x, so that's 2. And c is the constant, which is 1. So we want to make an xy table. And we want probably about 5 points to get our entire U shape. So we're going to find our middle point by the vertex. The vertex is the opposite of b over 2a for our x value. So we'll plug in our b and our a. So negative 2 over 2 times negative 1, which when we solve is negative 2 over negative 2, which is 1. So in the middle we have 1. Now we just want two numbers below, two numbers above, so 0, negative 1, 2, and 3. We want about 5 because that will give us our nice U shape for our graph. We would take each of these values, plug them into our equation. So we'll just do one for an example. So negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 1. And you just simplify that. So negative 1 squared is 1. It stays negative because negative is on the outside. Plus 2 plus 1. When we add that all together, we get 2. So we do that with the negative 1, plug it in, 0, plug it in, so on and so forth. Alternately, if you have a graphing calculator, you could just put in this equation and get your values from a table. You just need to find that vertex first so you know what to center it around. So once you get all the points, plot them. So we have the point 1, 2, 0, 1, negative 1, negative 2, so on and so forth. Just plot all 5 points. So once we get 5 points, we can kind of see this U shape already forming. So we just want to connect that in the best U that we can. So bear with me since I'm on a tablet. That's about as best as I can get that. But we just want that general U shape. So that's our graph. Now we still need domain, range, and end behavior. Domain is really easy for these because domain is always going to be the same. Domain is any x value we want. So negative infinity to infinity. Range, since this is opening down, our lowest value is going to be negative infinity because it just keeps going down on the y-axis. So we go from negative infinity up to our highest point, which is our vertex, which is 2. So domain negative infinity to infinity, range negative infinity to 2, close bracket since we can use it. End behavior, with quadratics, they're either both going to go to infinity or both directions to negative infinity. When it's opening down, it's going negative infinity both ways. So as x approaches infinity, f of x approaches negative infinity, since it's going down to the right. And as x approaches negative infinity, which is to the left, f of x approaches negative infinity. Since opening down, that's the direction it's going. And let's look at one more example. So same basic idea. We want to label our a, b, and c. So a is 2, b is negative 16, c is 33. Okay. We want our vertex, x equals opposite of b over 2a, so opposite of negative 16 over 2 times 2, 16, which is 16 over 4, which is 4. So when we make our xy table, it's going to be centered around the number 4. So 3 and 2 are smaller, 5 and 6 are bigger. Again, you can use a graphing calculator, you can plug it in, do it all by hand, either way is fine. We would just take each x, plug it into our equation. So 2 times, let's do the 4, because that's our middle, 16 times 4, and I'm running out of room, plus 33. So you would solve that, put in the calculator, do it by hand, whatever method you want to do. So again, after we get our entire table, we get our x's, plug them in to get our y's, or look at the table on the calculator, we plot our points. So you want to get all 5 because you want to get that nice U shape. So as we can see, even before we start to connect them, we can see that U shape forming. And there we have our nice graph. So nice U shape, nice parabola. So let's move on to domain, range, and end behavior. So domains are easy one, with most functions can be -infinity to infinity. We can use any x values we want. Range, since this one's opening up, we have a lowest y value. You can tell by looking at the graph that's the smallest point. So that's at 1, and it goes up all the way to infinity. So that's the other way around. If it opens up, ranges from smallest up to infinity. End behavior, when it opens down, both sides went to -infinity, but now since both sides are going up, it goes to positive infinity. So as x approaches infinity, f of x approaches infinity, so right side goes up is essentially what this is saying. As x approaches -infinity, which is left side, it goes up as well. So f of x goes to infinity. So that's pretty much graphing domain and range. We typically just have 2 types. Either it opens up, opens down. Either way, we're going to graph it the same way. If you have any questions, please leave them below or ask me via email or in class.